You know, I sort of get why countries go from like being friends to fucking hating each other after a while. Like I just get it.
Why is that?
Cuz like I was just thinking like bro, fuck Canada. Like fuck Canada in the face. Like fuck these people. They're like I don't want to derogatorily say like they're our hat or anything, but it's like you have less people that in than like some of our states. Like
Yeah,
stop.
yeah. I
Stop.
mean, a lot of their land is just inhospitable. Most of their land people can't live in because it's like the tundra.
Yeah, and it's like actually global warming. You all of you, first of all, should be rooting for global warming because it's gonna make that'll make you a fucking empire and global superpower. Like, there you
Yeah,
go. That'll
I
that'll
know. I know
no go ahead.
so many conservative Canadians that either they have plans to leave Canada, they want to come to the United States, even though the United States is probably like 10 to 15 years behind where Canada is. Although it's harder to do what they want to do. It's harder to do what they did in Canada than it is in the United States because of our constitution and the
Yeah,
people's unwill. Like, I mean, half the country does not trust the government. In Canada, it's very much more uniform. There's pockets of like right wing resistance, I guess I would say, but it's not as
it's
widespread
not the
as it is in the
same.
United
And I
States.
like
So plus we have guns. Plus we have
I
guns.
wish that like Alberta or one of those like Western provinces just said fuck it, like we want to be part of the United States. And I don't even care if they're like end up blue or whatever, because like if you just look at the maps, it'll look like the US is just fisting freaking Canada at that point. Like, yo, we need a corridor to link freaking Alaska to mainland United States. I'm all for that. But like actually for real, if I was president of the United States and England was putting at like all of those people in prison for saying shit online, I'd be like, "Hey, England, you know what? Like, you can fuck yourselves in the face. Like, I am willing to drop best friend status with you if you are putting your people in prison. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I thought we are supposed to be democratic and free speech and all that bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
especially the worst. I mean, like one of the best examples or worst examples, I guess I would say, is when the trucker convoy, when they were protesting the shutdowns and forced gene therapy mandates, and then there was like one guy that had a Nazi flag or whatever, a swastika flag, and they used that in order to demonize the entire movement, even though it was one guy, and reportedly they kicked that guy out of there. Which at that point, it's like, is that person a Fed? Is that person purposely being put there to try to like destroy the actual movement of resisting tyranny?
you know, okay, so you know those images of like you always see this in like South American countries or in whatever countries where you have like mass protests. Like, I mean, like like there are like there are millions of people on the street. Like it's like the picture
Mhm.
of the entire road full of people, and I'm like, yo, that shit can never happen in the United States. Like that would
Well,
be impossible to happen in the United States.
the
And
only
it's like
time
why? But well, because you have all these paid agitators all the time. There's no way. There's no possible way you can get all those people in one place without some like assholes doing some shit. Whether it's protesters or counter protesters or counter protesters, whatever you want to say, you're still gonna have like that. That would not be possible. And I'm like, and it just made me think like, oh, actually, like it feels like actual popular protests in the United States is just all bullshit. Actually, most of
oh
them are
yeah.
just bullshit.
Well, yeah, it's hugely organized, and like people have done research into it about how like money is funneled through like NGOs in order to coordinate this. I mean, there were worldwide protests and riots when George Floyd died. So, and plus the right in the especially in America, the right does not protest. They don't go out in the street. They basically just take everything on the chin.
Bro,
Especially if
I have a fucking job. What am I gonna do? Protest at 3 p.m. in the afternoon while I'm dismissing my student from school? Are you kidding me? Like I actually have stuff to do, and I get home and I'm not like I'm not going.
And it doesn't help that the left has like a built-in explanation for that. And it's like, oh, like what is like mainstream society going to think if they see a bunch of white people out protesting? They're like, oh, look at white supremacy. White supremacy is on the rise. So they have like built-in explanations for anything that the right does that will just demonize the right and get normies to think they're even more evil than they actually are.
Yeah,
Um,
like I don't know. I would go out and say that if you're getting paid to protest, that's like actually an arrestable offense, and you should go to prison for that. I, what like I'm Whatever, like if it's like, and I'm just saying, like if it's obvious, like, you know, people are like handing out money on the street sort of thing, like if it's in your face kind of thing,
Yeah.
like
Speaking
that shouldn't, I don't know, that shouldn't be allowed. That's bullshit. Like, because then you would have less protests, but then that means actual protests that you have, like, well, the people are actually, okay, the people are actually upset. We don't get to that point. We're never going to get to that point as long as there's bread on the table. So
Exactly. You know, it would have to be. That's why I wanted to start like Revolution Velvet a couple years ago, because Revolution Velvet, or the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia, was started once things got so bad and they were living under a repressive communist regime for so long, and so it got started much later. And I was like, well, now we have the internet and we can see where society is heading. So why not start some sort of movement before we get to that point? But you're right, though. Things would have to get so bad before people like actually freak out about it.
yeah, and like gosh, I don't want to freaking meme something that something horrifying in the past, but like didn't they just go outside and cross their arms and just like, no, we're not doing any of your bullshit anymore, we're done, until the government collapsed?
Pretty
Like,
much, there was some violence, but it was majority just a peaceful protest, civil disobedience, things like that. That's what the majority of it was. And plus,
well, it
you know,
was Soviet, right? It was a rebellion against like Soviet,
against the
Soviet rule.
USSR, yeah, like the
Well,
USSR.
okay,
Like,
yeah. So obviously you're gonna have like like the sun rises and there's just violence in Soviet Russia. Like it's worse than the Aztecs.